So now let's keep it moving. Let's think about that late payment. Okay, I became late again. That's 2 months. I'm behind 2 months. All right. So that's 60 days. I'm late again the third month. That's 90 days late, right? By that time, your creditor will have probably already put your account in collection status. All right. They probably already put your account in collection status. So now when it comes to collections, let's go to 15 USC 1681 CC1. So we're going to go to 15 USC 1681 CC1 because I want you to see that there is a time frame that these creditors have to even report. Now for them to put the account in collections, that's solely up to them. But when it comes to collections turning into charge-offs, then that's a different story. But let me do this first before I go to that. Let's do 15 USC 1692 C, because I want you to, if you ever heard of do not pay collections, this is the law that they talk about when they say do not pay collections. All right. And when I'm talking about collection, I'm talking about third-party debt collectors when I'm talking about this. The collection process with a creditor is totally different. Okay. The collection process with a creditor is totally different because the definition of a debt collector has changed since I think it was April of this year. The definition of a debt collector has changed. So I'm talking about third-party debt collectors. All right. So let me go to this real quick. So in the communication with the connection of a debt, let me share this screen. Do not pay collections, okay? Do not pay collections. Anytime a third-party debt collector and lawyers office are even considered debt collectors. That's even listed inside of the law. The only time they're considered debt collectors is when they're in the business of collecting debt for another company or another party. All right. They're in the business of collecting debts. Yes, you can send a notice of validation of debt letter to that lawyer's office. And if I were you, I would also send a validation of debt letter to the actual third party debt collection company. So now what you're seeing on the screen now is do not pay collection. This is why they say do not pay collection. All right. Because first of all, you didn't go into contract with the lawyer's office nor that third party debt collector. All right. So you don't even know if you owe the debt, period. Second of all, you don't even know if they own the debt to even put to collect it from you. Also, I want you to put in the back of your mind, check with NMLS. It's called NMLS. Check that system to see if that company is licensed to collect debts in your state. Now, when you look at it, and I want to show you this because I want you to at least see it. Me just talking it to you is a different story. So I'm gonna take the screen off the law real quick, but I want to show you how to look up a company, and you don't even need an account. So I want to show you how to come to this search system, and you'll see that I use a couple already. So let me share this screen real quick. Remove this one, and I want to share this one. I want to show you how to look to check to see if these companies are licensed to even collect the debt in your state. All right. But there's a kicker to it because you got to also check this place too. All right. So when you go to this, all right. So when you go to this screen, you'll see that I already got. And let me try what was it called? LVNV. Everybody should know who LVNV is. One of the biggest debt collection companies out there. So I'm gonna search for LVNV, and I don't know if you can see my screen, so let me zoom in some more so y'all can see. Let me make sure. All right. So you're gonna go to this website and you're gonna check to see if LVNV is licensed in your state. So I'm gonna say Mississippi, but I'm gonna click on it. So you'll come here to this link and you'll click it. And what it does, it gives you the information to LVNV Funding LLC, all right, numbers and everything. So if you don't know how to contact them, I wouldn't call any of these companies. Always send everything in writing, because you don't want them to say that because it's your word against theirs if you're on the phone, unless you're recording the call. But I wouldn't call them at all. I send the actual letter with the laws that they violate me with, just to have paper trail, because paper trails are great when it's time to take these companies to court, especially if you're trying to pursue them, by yourself as a regular consumer. So we're going to come down here, and if you notice, it's showing you every state that they're licensed as a collection company. So it tells you in Arizona, it's a collection agency. It's licensed in Arizona. All right. Notice, and I'm going to use Mississippi as an example because that's where I'm from. I'm going to scroll down because I want you to look for Mississippi. All right. This is where I want you to look. I want you to look for Mississippi. Do you see Mississippi anywhere on this list? Okay. So now, the next thing you have to check with your state to see if they're licensed. So I would type in LVNV registered agent, and then it'll take you to the actual, you can click on the license to take you to the website of Mississippi to make sure that they're licensed. And I'm gonna show you that real quick, because Mississippi business, I'm gonna put that business license. I'm going straight to Google when I do this. Mississippi business license. Gonna go to Secretary of State. And I'm going to show you this in a few. I'm trying to go to it because you notice Mississippi is not on here. Now, your state may not be on here, so you have to take it to the next step. You have to actually go to your websites, your state's. So let me put search on here, license and search. All right, here we go. So you have to actually go to your state's website, and let me pull this screen up for you. Stop sharing that one. So you saw that one. Well, you notice you didn't see Mississippi. All right. So now I want to show you where I'm actually going to the Mississippi website, and I'm checking as a precaution. I'm checking to see if this state is licensed to even do business or to even. But in Mississippi, a debt collector doesn't have to have they don't have to be licensed, but they do have to be bonded to collect the debt in Mississippi. That's what's so messed up about Mississippi, because any debt collector can come into the state of Mississippi and collect the debt. Even if you don't owe the debt, they can pursue you for the debt. Now, they don't have to be licensed, but they have to be bonded. All right. So now I'm going to show you. I'm on my state's website, and it's the Secretary of State website. I just type in Mississippi State Secretary, Mississippi Secretary of State Business Licensure Search. Type it in, and it'll pull it up for you, whatever your state is. So I'm going to type in LVNV. All right. I'm going to search. Now, you notice, and let me put it in another way. Because I actually looked this up just the other day. Some told me to screenshot it, but it's not coming up. So if I type in, I think it was LVNV. LVNV is licensed. I looked it up. So let me look at, I know I looked up H&R also. This is actually a, is it Delaware, if I'm not mistaken? H&R accounts. See what this one is. This is the one that I found. This is the one that collect debts in a lot of states. So let me see. Once you find out, and say for instance, I had LVNV, but LVNV is, they do have a license in Mississippi, but this company right here, and let me go to details. Once you type it in, if that company is licensed in your state, it'll pop up. But I think I got to spell LVNV another way, because you do have to spell it a certain way for it to pop up. Just like you saw me type in the H&R, because I do remember typing in H&R from the last time I checked. So this, it'll show you whether the company is in good standing. It'll show you that its effective date when it started doing business in Mississippi. It gives you the registered agent's name. It gives you everybody that you can contact. So what the purpose of what I'm showing you is to check the NMLS website first. Make sure you check to see if your state is on there. If your state is not on there, use a backup plan. Go to your state Secretary of State website, type in business licensure, look it up to see if they're licensed in your state. But you also need to know that, do they have to be licensed to collect the debt? That might be why you didn't see the LVNV on it, because they don't have to be licensed, but they do have to be bonded though. All right, so make sure you check those when you try to determine the collection. All right, so now back to the 1692C, do not pay collections. We're going to use this law to get collections account deleted from your credit report. All right, so let's go to 15 U.S.C. 1692C. C, ceasing communication. All right, ceasing communication. So when that third-party debt collector contacts you, this is what I need you to send to them. You need to take this law, the communication in connection with a debt collection. So we're going to go down from A, we're going to go to C. All right, so if a consumer, and I'm going to put it in the place of what I'm saying is about you. So if you notify a debt collector in writing that you refuse to pay a debt, this is a license where, I mean, this is the only law that I know that where a consumer can refuse to pay a debt, or that you wish the debt collector to cease meaning to stop further communication with you. The debt collector shall not communicate further with you with respect to such debt, except the only time when you send them this letter, when you put them on notice, you tell them to cease and desist communication. Now, when you do this, don't ask them to validate the debt. Okay, when you send this letter to a third-party debt collector, first of all, know that you didn't go into contract with this company. First of all right, you don't know if you really owe the debt. Now, you know, you probably had a credit card with Credit One a lot, like about maybe 2 years ago. I'm gonna say 2 years ago, but you know how long it's been. You might have had loss of memory or whatever. But what I'm trying to get you to see is you didn't go into a contract with this third-party debt collector. So if you're going to use 15 U.S.C. 1692C, ceasing communication, don't ask them to validate the debt, because you just told them in one sentence to stop communicating with me unless you're telling me if you're going to terminate the collection efforts, or you're going to invoke any kind of specific remedies, or you're going to tell me what specific remedies that you're going to invoke. Okay? Don't turn around in another sentence and ask them to validate the debt. That's two different things. So when we say don't pay collections, decide on what you want to do. Decide on whether you want them to stop contacting you, or decide on whether you want them to validate the debt. Now, you may be I'm gonna say a good Samaritan, good consumer, where you want to know, actually, do they own the debt? Because when you ask them to validate, you're asking them to prove to you that they own the debt. So in your